I was very thrilled when you asked me to be the host of this inaugural episode of LA Sober, to interview you, the brainchild and founder of LA Sober.
Why, thank you, Annie. I was trying to think of who I wanted, and you are so bubbly and outgoing that I thought you would be a good fit. And because you have a brand, Citizen Hyde, that is kind of goes along with what LA Sober is, so I thought it would be a good thing.
Great. Well, let's get into it, because let's talk about what LA Sober is. So what does this name mean?
So LA Sober, I'll first tell you how it came about.
Okay.
LA Sober came about through a business partner of mine that doesn't live here. He lives in Wisconsin, Nelson, which you met Nelson before. Yes. And Nelson, when I started my journey on this, he would call me LA Sober because I'm not sober. I just don't drink alcohol. And I'm like, well, that's kind of catchy. So in my eyes, today, LA Sober is not drinking alcohol, or people that have a healthy relationship with alcohol, they can drink it, but people that don't, we shouldn't, like myself. And it's about building a overall community that is present and clear, and just owning what you do, and just being okay with the makeup of who we are as people.
Yeah, like I part of when I started my weed friendly brand, I wanted to make it clear that we're like proud weed smokers. It's not like we're not like hidden in a basement. It's like wine. Like I always think I'd rather my kids be, I mean, don't listen to this, kids, but I'd rather be potheads than alcoholics, right? Like, what is this like stigma? And that there's part of, for me, it was part of like this sort of pride. I don't know if you have that.
Yeah, no. So when I launched this, I really didn't even think about the content that I would be having to do, and I'm doing content nonstop. So I did think about that. I'm like, oh my God, my daughters are going to see this, but I'm not ashamed of it. And I would rather them do other things than alcohol. And it's not like I'm a hardcore stoner. And if you are, that's fine too. But I mean, I hustle and I own it. And, I have a very successful business, but it's okay if I want to get high or do some mushrooms. Like, I'm not out of control, but I do need to have a bit of a escape here and there.
Right. It's like a tough life. Like I used to always say, a friend of mine who I grew up with, his dad said to him, it's a really lonely life if you can't figure out like a way to be able to have a beer. And this is sort of the same idea, right? Like if you can't have a beer,
yep,
hopefully there's another way you can do it, because we all need an escape. We all need something to do, as long as you can figure out how to do it responsibly. And for some of us, alcohol is not it, right?
For me, it's not. From a very early age, I recognized that I did not have a healthy relationship with it. And I think it just comes from my DNA and my family history. And there's a lot of anxiety with it and a lot of shame. And so when I would drink, it was, the first couple I'm fine, but I don't know always how to understand the feelings and the emotions, so then I just keep drinking because I don't want to feel them.
Listen, alcohol is hard to dose, right? That's what I think. It's just really, unless you're like a professional, if you really, really work, some people can't, but like it's easier, I think, to dose other like substances. So it really is, I think. And I think as you get older, through the years, I've done my share of most drugs, and I think it's really now mind over matter, and I can control almost everything I do these days. And if I want to get loose, I can, but at the same time, I can keep it very structured and still enjoy it, but not make crazy decisions and not wake up feeling like shit. I mean, look at David Wells. Remember that he pitched a perfect game on acid.
Correct. Or look at who's the Diplo?
Oh yes, exactly, on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
he came from like Vegas
True.
to New York or vice versa, and he was on acid, and no one even knew.
Yeah, it's just
so
so
it just shows you. I think there's all these stigmas around drugs, and I'm not condoning drugs at all. I'm just saying that for myself, if you are responsible, I think there's a way that you can do things and keep things in check.
So California sober is like the common term for this, but you're going with LA sober. So what is the differential that makes LA sober different from California sober, or is it the same thing?
I mean, it's similar, but again, it came from a name that we came up with, and I also think that it's about being social and being able to hustle and being confident. And so it's following most of the same boundaries, I guess, but it's also redefining what sober is and not putting it into this little category. It's about everyone can be LA sober with kind of their own meaning, but in my eyes, it's about it's about owning yourself and being confident and being present and being clear and just being able to have a good time without the regrets, or in my case, without putting alcohol into my body that was kind of poison for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think LA has a personality, and I think putting that all the things that you just said about like confidence and connection and ambition, right? I mean, that's all these things that you sort of feel in the heartbeat of this city, and I think people are doing all sorts of things and socializing and connecting and trying to like get to the next place. Like we can, like we know each other socially. We met through our kids, but like have built this community around so many other things and business and
Kenter Canyon.
Shout out Kenter Canyon, and business and watching sports, and we all hang out, and it's sort of become this bigger thing. But that's the thing about LA, right? Is that like you can connect to people here, and people are interested in connecting, and people are interested in learning about each other's business and having conversations about it and connecting people to the next step. And it's like sort of the city of networking, I feel like. And I think people think that's something that they say is a bad thing about LA. That people are always like looking to get to the next thing, but why can't it be seen as a good thing that everyone's there to help each other and connect and network? And that's sort of like the social element of LA sober that you're talking about. Like, you sort of have to be social here or to make it here, I think.
Yeah, and I think that I think people forget that you're not born with confidence. Mm-hmm. You learn how to be confident, and I think for until I was like 45, I almost faked it, where I came off as confident and I came off as, successful, but down deep inside, because of the alcohol for me, I wasn't confident. And as soon as I finally said enough's enough, I saw it. I just blossomed, and I became a new person that was happier inside and out in every aspect of my life. Every aspect of my life, from my kids to my relationship with my wife, to my relationship with myself, to work, to surfing more, going on more trips that were positive, not going on a trip and just getting so hammered and then laying in my hotel bed for hours and feeling like garbage. It was like, I can have a good time, but I don't have to deal with the bullshit about it anymore.
I mean, the confidence is so interesting, right? Because confidence is queen. I mean, I know people say confidence is king, but I say confidence is queen. Like, it really is, as somebody who I feel like I was just like sort of born obnoxiously and really having a lot of people think I have like no right to be confident, but it's such a helpful thing to have in life.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a problem going up to people. You don't have a problem asking people. You don't have a problem with rejection. Like, it doesn't matter, really.
Yeah. I think when I think about it, I was born a preemie baby, like 8 weeks early, and they didn't think I was going to make it. And so as a kid, I, had a ton of disabilities growing up in terms of like I couldn't crawl when people crawled, I couldn't walk when they walked, and then I had a really bad speech impediment. And so my nickname growing up was Billy.
Oh.
And as a kid, like that fucks with you.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where like I would be in class and I would be afraid, like as they go around the room saying, okay, we're going to go through the room and you're going to read this little piece. I would count and see where I was, and I was petrified. And that really screwed with me for a long time. Like it was bad. And I think that made me have these defenses up that are not very healthy. And while I went to a speech therapist as a kid and all the way until I was like probably 12, and I got better. But even when I started like working and being in a boardroom, like I struggled with it, and I never thought I was good enough. And the minute I said, you know what, I am who I am, and I may stutter, but no one really cares. It doesn't happen as much, and no one really cares. But because of those struggles, I would drink more.
Just you're self-medicating, right?
Correct.
I mean, that's really what people are doing in a way. I mean, and
when I drank, it actually make it worse.
Right.
So not only the next morning was I even worse, but then the anxiety kicks in.
The anxiety.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No.
So business-wise, right? So this is a business or a brand. What's your background? In your, like, give us your CV.
Yeah, so I'll start back where I grew up. So I grew up in Palm Springs. And Palm Springs, when I grew up, was a very small town, but it was awesome because there was all different walks of life. Like from rich to poor, I was lower middle class, but I had friends that were ultra rich and friends that had nothing. So you're around a lot of different people. From straight to whatever, and when I look back at it, you know, there's a lot of downtime, and when there's downtime, you party.
Yeah.
So we started partying at a very early age. Like I started drinking when I was like 13, dabbling in all kinds of drugs, and you know, it made me who I am, and I wouldn't change it. But, you know, I think there was times where I got into cycles that I probably shouldn't have. So then I went to school in San Diego at San Diego State. So much fun, but it's a party school. And back then it was even more of a party school. And enjoyed it, but, you know, got in some trouble here and there. And then I moved to LA in 97 with like $500 in my name, was living on a friend's girlfriend's couch down in Hermosa Beach, needed a job. I thought I was going to be on the creative side, and I got a job at a rep firm selling TV time. Did that for about 2 years, and then learned what long form is, and I was selling infomercial media, and then got a job with a marketer and really learned the down and dirty side of it. And back then it was crazy. And then from there, I started my own company in 2001 called Media for the Masses, grew that to like $20 million in billings, killed it, like went from being poor to making $50,000 a month, like that. But then didn't make any money for a year or two. So then I merged with Canela Media, which I'm still with now. And we are now a omni-channel media agency, performance-based. We have like 70 clients, 9 figures, but I almost run it, right? So with that, it's great, but I never stop. I always work. And I think I put pressure on myself to always overachieve. And that's tough, right? Because when you put those up in front of me, then if I don't always do what I think I can do, it's hard on me. And I'm learning that like with this brand, I put it out there, I'm starting it. I have no idea where it's going to go. But just from, I've been really working on this for probably 6 months. it just continues to evolve and change. Like I'm sitting here with you, right? Like I would have never thought that, and it will just keep. And I'm really enjoying it.
You know, I have to say that is like part of being an entrepreneur that I love. I'm just never ever bored. Like and it's just like a problem pops up or a new idea pops up, and then you pivot, and it's just like a good lesson for life too. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are to have this, sort of like confidence, right, to be able to pivot and start something new. And it seems like LA Sober is sort of marrying your professional life with your personal life and finding a way to put that into a business, right, to put both of them in.
For sure. And because I never stop, I like that this is mine, and sorry partners, but I don't have to like deal with partners on it. I can make a decision. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's my money. I am really, really enjoying it, and I am excited to see where it goes. When I think about the brand today, it's really just merch, but we started the podcast, so the podcast is called.
We started the podcast today.
We did.
Thank you very much.
Today is the first day.
Yes.
Thank you. It's called LA Sober Sessions, and I think with the overall podcast, it's about just speaking to people that are like-minded, talking about their journey, learning about how they think about it, and just having a good talk. I mean, just being transparent and open. And I think people out there are going to really enjoy it because, no one's perfect, and we all have problems. We all have insecurities, and that's okay. And then I think as we evolve, I believe, we'll start to do some co-ops and partnerships, and maybe make it like a marketplace where we're selling other brands, and maybe we'll do some pop-ups. Maybe there'll be a ready to drink THC drink. So we're like at day 2. And right. I'm super excited to see where it goes.
Well, somebody with a brand, I would love to be part of your marketplace. So there you go. So good idea. Because guess what? It's like hard to find places where people know to go to get exactly this, right? It's a very specific, but widely, sort of a widely thought way of life, right?
Yeah.
Specific, but broad.
Yeah. I mean, when I think of that side of it, I almost think of if people know Los Angeles, Fred Siegel, right? Yeah. Fred Siegel, I think they're still in business, right?
I feel like they just opened up again, maybe.
Yeah. So Fred Siegel is a store where it's all luxury, like upscale brands, but they have all different types in there, and you can go there. And like when I was younger, I'd go there if I had like a big night out where you could go there and you could always find something. I want people to be able to come to us and find cool things that maybe they haven't seen before, where they can come to us and it's all in one stop. So
I have two follow-up questions for the podcast. First of all, let me just start with that. So who's like your dream people to talk to on the podcast?
That's a good question. Theo Vaughn. I love that guy. He's
pretty funny. I'm a little upset that he was, I better not say it, but I like him. He's funny.
Yeah.
And sober-ish, right? He's sober adjacent also? I know he doesn't drink anymore.
I think he's completely sober right now.
Completely sober. Okay.
Completely sober. Yeah, his stories about doing drugs are
really funny.
Are all time. Bruce Irons. Bruce Irons is a pro surfer, and his brother was Andy Irons, which won the championship twice, I think. And Bruce really struggled with substances and his brother dying, and he kind of went down a track for a while that wasn't good, and he's finally come out of it. So I'd love to have a conversation with him regarding like just his life in general. Yeah. And I love surfing, so
yeah. And you had early your parents died when you were young, so it's a whole different thing. I had my dad die when I was young. It's a whole club that you're in when you have somebody. When you experience death at that like young age, it sort of makes sense that you would sort of fuck around.
Yeah,
with self-medicating.
My dad died when he was 56, mm-hmm. and I never thought I think I was that was like 30, maybe 28, 30. And my I never thought my dad would die before my mom. My mom was unhealthy from as long as I can remember, like from when I was like 10 on. And I don't want to go into all that because it just makes me not feel great. But and then she passed away 6 years later, and it really made me a hypochondriac for a while. And I would just overthink things, and I have a very I have a way of getting inside my head. Yeah. And you know, for the longest time I would say to myself, okay, if I make it to 56, I'm good. Because for whatever reason I put that as a barrier. And the crazy thing about it was my brother-in-law turned 57 last week, and I tripped out on it. I go, dude, you're 57 and my dad died at 56. And I didn't think of my dad, like back then I thought my dad was older, and I'm like, wait, I'm 51, you're 57. I think he's 57, maybe he's 56. Anyways, it really put it into a different light that was enlightening to a degree.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's this, you know, people think life is short, do things, and I'm sort of like, life is long for a lot of us. Like, I don't love life is short. I'm like, life is long. Like, we can do 1,000 things, and you realize you have a whole lifetime ahead of you after 56.
Yeah, I think so. I thought about this brand. Oh my God, am I too old to really start something brand new that I know nothing about this side of the business? I mean, I know how to market products, which is going to help me. But you know, I've always liked fashion. I think I have good fashion, and you know, it's something that excites me. So I'm like, you know, if I can put my energy and focus into something that I'm into, it's going to be a good thing, I think. And I know that I work super hard, and I'm always on, so I think it has a good chance.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And then so my other follow-up question, when you're talking about the marketplace, like, what's some brands that you think you'd like? What type? I mean, if we're thinking of you of like a curator of, like, what do you use? What would you like to showcase, and what are you looking to find too?
Yes. So these sweats are Rhone, RHONE, and I like a lot of their stuff. It's kind of like, I think the stuff that came out of Viore, I think when they launched, well, they were around for a while, but I think, you know, during the pandemic, they blew up because we're all sitting at our house. You can't do anything. So we started buying clothes. I think from them, there was a ton of stuff that came out. I look at Florence Marine X is a brand from John Florence, and he's a pro surfer. You know, and I believe Bob Hurley is behind it, and he was the guy that started Hurley. He was behind Billabong. I think what they're doing is amazing. It's authentic. You know, when I look at brands that I want to be partnering up with, are brands that are real. It's not corporate. It's you know, you're not afraid to be who you are. There's a brand, I can't even pronounce the word, but it's Ecterix. They're on San Vicente and Barrington.
Okay.
It's a super high-end out
in Brentwood,
California. Brentwood. It's super high-end outdoor clothes, and they make some shoes that are just like they are like a loafer, but they're very casual, and they are by far one of my favorite pair of shoes I have now.
Oh, I'm gonna look at that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And so is that the kind of brands that you want to put in the marketplace, or would you put those or just do collaborations with them, and the brands that would be in the marketplace would be different?
I think both. You know, I think it's both. I think you know, the brands can be from like candles to like a THC brand. Like, I really like Caminos. Like I love
husband loves the
I love
Caminos.
gummies.
He loves the socials. And by the way, Citizen Hyde has candles. I should have brought you the Citizen Hyde candle. I didn't think of it. You need some for your set.
We do. Well,
they pair with the Citizen Hyde candles. They pair with your activity. So they pair with when you're doing mushrooms. They pair with when you're
I like
sativa.
that.
So that's their whole thing. Yeah.
I like that.
So you burn them while you're doing that. But yes, candle. Sorry, go ahead.
There's a THC drink I like called High Boy. And it's like a tall can.
That's a good name. I like that.
Yeah, they're really good. I like some sleep mints. They're called Little Helpers.
Oh, that's cute too.
Yeah.
The branding in
Yeah.
the cannabis world is so friggin' good. It's like the culmination of like years and years of like, it just feels so current, all of it. Like I rarely see branding that I think sucks.
Yeah, I think because they have to stand out because they aren't mainstream, so they have to see where they can do what type of marketing they can get away with. Back to like clothes, like Outer Known, I like, which is a brand from Kelly Slater.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that.
So can I just ask you about your accent? Can I?
You can.
Okay, so I don't know if this is your accent, if it's an accent from, because you say alcohol and Callie Slater. Is that like a speech impediment, or is it from?
No,
it's say alcohol. Interestingly.
Yeah, no, because there's certain words that I will stutter on. So if I slow down and make it more of a word, I don't stutter on it.
Okay.
Like type of words like that are really hard for me to say.
Okay.
So I am learning to adjust my vocabulary.
I love it. You and Joe Biden.
Hey, don't
Stutters. Stutters who made it.
Yeah. No, I am a stuttering guy, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Okay, so this is okay. So then let me ask you this: what's your was there like a moment that made you, that sent you over the edge? Like I don't want to call it rock bottom because you don't seem like you're necessarily an alcoholic, but you were a problem drinker, right? So was there a moment that was like the last straw that made you quit?
Yeah. So right before COVID, my wife and I were at one of her old bosses.
Shout out Nicole.
Nicole, close your ears. We were at her old boss's wedding at the Four Seasons in Westlake, and
oh God, I'm scared.
I was out of control.
Okay.
Because I just came off a bender before, and then I went into it, and I didn't black out that night. Almost, it's a little fuzzy, but all I remember was being on a dance floor and having 15 women around me, and I'm dancing inside the middle, and that's just not a right. That's like my wife says, like, ugh. So that next day, I quit drinking, but I didn't really quit that time. I would still take sips of my wife's drinks, but me taking a sip would maybe be a bit of a more sip. And then I started to drink again. I'm like, I can try it again. That was about 2 years later, and I tried to drink again, and it's like I say, I tried riding that bicycle over and over again, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And when the last time, which is coming on in, I think it's March 10th, I want to say, something like that, will be 2 years with zero booze, like not a lick of it. I was out to dinner here with some friends we know, and I ended up going out that night with one of the dads.
Wait, did I see you? Did you go to the Golden Bowl? Wait, I think I saw you. I swear, I think I was there. Oh my God, that's bad news.
No, I don't think I was at Golden Bowl that night.
Okay,
I was, because we were.
Because I did see you one night at the Golden Bowl,
and
about 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Maybe 2 years, maybe 1 week less than 2 years.
I was probably going into my binge.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
And so
Sorry.
it's funny. Golden Bowl, that place is interesting.
I mean, I love it. But I usually smoke, by the time I get to the Golden Bowl, just in LA Sober, to celebrate the LA Sober theme, I usually nurse my drink by the time I get to the Golden Bowl, and I really just smoke pot.
But you don't drink a lot.
I drink a ton.
You handle it great because I never see you out of control, but you always seem like you're fine.
It's like a psychological warfare within myself because I don't want to quit.
Because you know how I get. I just get sloppy.
Yeah, but I will say, like, I did learn, there's 1,000 things I did, right, to make it so that I didn't have to quit drinking. I never will do shots. I won't drink gin. When I go to a wedding, right, like if there's an open bar, I ask for half a shot I'll say, oh, I'll take a vodka soda, but just a half a shot. And then I come back for it, right? Like there's certain things I learned over time that I was like, if I don't get this under control, I'll have to quit. So those are a lot of the things that I do. Like I mean, I used to do shots and drink tequila and I mean, gin was like, I was like a fucking lunatic. But then, it's like, I was like, well, if I better quit this or I'm going to have to quit alcohol altogether. So I sort of figured out how to do it. But I get to a certain point in the night where then I sort of switch over to weed.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like.
So you can drink and then do weed?
Yeah, but I'm like a substance. I'm a user. I'm a mixer.
Yeah.
But it's taken years. It's a lifetime of practice.
Yeah, I
know it's rare.
Well, no, it's like I don't wish I was like that because I think I'm a better person now without booze. But
do you miss it?
No.
So do you think that when you're out in social situations and people are drinking, the fact that you can dabble in this other stuff, does it help you so that you don't feel like do you still feel a part of everything? Because it's such a huge part of like social scenes, right? Drinking.
Yeah, I mean, at times, there are times when I get bored because, I like now, one of my pet peeves is when people get drunk, they say the same thing over and over again. Yeah. And it's like, I cannot hear you say that again. And then as the night goes on, they just keep like, what? It's like, what are you talking about? So I do get bored a little bit here and there, but no, I mean, the only time I miss drinking is if I'm like walking by, like if I'm at like on a vacation in like Maui or something and like someone's having like a glass of Chardonnay like stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God, that'd be so fun. But I know what's going to happen to me. So I don't.
Right. Yeah, that's good. So
yeah.
You've definitely like come full circle, right? You've wrapped your head around it. It's good.
Yeah.
It probably does. I mean, it's good because you can at least it's nice. The whole LA sober thing, right, is that you don't, it's interesting because it's a way around quitting everything.
Yeah, and I don't want
it may not work for some people, but it does work for a lot.
Yeah, and I don't want to like be sober. Like I need to have an escape. I want to get high here and there. And it's not like I woke up like one day and said like the first time I'm not going to drink. Like this has been a journey for 25 years right. that I knew it was a unhealthy relationship. And so it was like I worked it in my head many times. And back to when I quit was I went on a bender and then I was out here, ended up at a strip club, got home at like 4 a.m., had to jump on a flight to Miami of all places at like 7 a.m., flew to Miami for work and, party for 3 more nights, went to Club 11, which you guys know what that is. If you don't, you guys can go on and do a little Google search, was on a yacht. And that next day I go, I'm fucking done.
It's funny. People would think that's a high class problem story, but you're saying it's the opposite.
I was done. I was just like, I don't want to wake up in the morning and thinking through, oh my God, I can't believe I said that or have a regret. Like I want to be in control and own it and be always satisfied and be confident about my overall actions.
So it's interesting. So when we were talking about this LA Sober brand, there were 3 words that you were saying. You've touched on both, right? Clarity, confidence, and now can you talk a little bit about community? Those are the 3 things that you were saying, right? Clarity, confidence, community.
Yeah, I think I believe there's a large subset of the population that is like me. Like I know many people that have said to me many times through the years, I hate drinking, but I keep doing it. And so they wake up in the morning after a big night out and they feel like shit. They made a bad decision. They got in a fight with their wife or their girlfriend. And I think that, the more open that I can be, and I'm not embarrassed by this at all. Like like I'm just telling my own story, my own journey. I think that if I can help people out there, why not? And by me starting this, I'm learning more and more about myself, because as I find ways to get more content or think about different product, like I just keep diving into it, or like the kind of comments I get from my posting, like I'm learning more about it. So again, I think it's about making myself a better person, but then also, I mean, a big part of this was I wanted to show my two daughters, which you know very well, that if you can't handle your alcohol like I can't, it's not acceptable to continue doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
And my oldest daughter, she's me to a T. Like, she is exactly me. She has my positive, she has my negative. She's all in, or
I mean, she's a I love that girl. She is just so much fun.
Please tell the one story.
Oh, about when we went and got when we were in Palm Springs?
No, about
Coachella?
No, when she started the
on the next door. Okay,
say it quickly.
By the way, okay, sorry. So the next door is that ridiculous app, and we were all so excited because we live in Brentwood. There's possibilities that there could be celebrities joining the app, and one day it said Bob Dylan joined. We were all like, holy shit, Bob Dylan joined. We're all like texting each other, screenshotting each other, and then the next thing you know, there's this picture of this like really, really, really cute dog, like a meme of the cutest dog in the world, and it says, "Can't keep him." And Bob Dylan posted it. We were like, what the hell? Like, Bob Dylan's like giving up this cute dog. And we come to learn that it was Kate when she was like 8, had figured out how to like break into next door with some fake, because you have to like prove your identity.
Yeah, and she came up with Bob Dylan, and we never listened to Bob Dylan.
It was like the funniest friggin' thing I ever learned. I had automatic respect for her at that moment. That was when I fell in love with her.
But you found out about it because we were going somewhere, and I was driving.
We were talking about how funny it was when we were saying like, can't keep him, because we say that still.
And my wife was like, you know that's fucking Kate, right? Like, it's so good.
But can I also just tell the Coachella story that she went with my daughter to like some Interscope party, which of course, this is LA, so whatever. My daughter, like through her internship, got this invitation, and my daughter said that they were giving away tooth gems, and she said that she was sitting there. She's like, okay, like put one in the back of my thing, and then Kate goes up, she's right here on the front tooth, and Chloe's like, no, Kate, I don't think you should be doing that. Next thing you know, Kate, boom, has this like gem glued to her front tooth. Of course, it came off. Thank goodness. It was supposed to stay on for 6 months. I think it lasted for like 3 days, but.
And you went to Drake, right, with her and our friend,
and Ike and Rebecca, yes, and she was right,
and those seats were like amazing.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. They were like in the front row, and my daughter's tall. She's like 6 feet tall, and she goes to like these. She's in the pit everywhere. She like moshes. She's so used to it. Kate's like this little slight girl. She's like in the front. All of a sudden, I see her like going like this with Chloe in the front to Drake. It was like amazing.
Yeah,
so impressed.
She loves hip hop.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, so.
Sorry.
Back on track.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so let's just hold on. Let me refer to these amazing notes. Hold, please. Okay, what I want to ask you is, okay, so what is your ideal LA sober day and your ideal LA sober night?
My ideal LA sober day is being in a place in my head where I am content, and not being stressed out. And again, I love surfing. So for me, it's about, going to the beach and enjoying that. But it's also just being able to handle everything that comes at me. And because like in finding the good within the journey, and because in my role running this agency, I just fix problems all day. So people don't usually come to me with something good. It's always a problem, and it gets hard. But again, I think that my ideal LA sober day isn't like, oh, I'm at the beach all day, because that's not my life. But it's just about being okay with what's going on, and being able to handle it in a
it's like feeling content
positive
while
way.
also moving forward.
Yeah.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
And then nighttime, which I'm meaning after work. And, after you've gotten everything done that you have to get done.
Yeah, it's twofold. So one thing is I love being by myself. Like, I love being by myself and either, watching YouTube or scrolling or learning something new. I think people probably think that I'm this like outgoing person. I'm really not. Like, I just have to be. But to me, it's about having some quiet time and trying to turn it off. And then for fun, I really enjoy going out with people that I like being around, and people that are social but not assholes. And because I go out with work so much, so I enjoy when I'm able to really connect with friends and have deep conversations, and being transparent about my thoughts and hearing theirs, and just really connecting.
And sometimes being high while doing it, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
on whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, at the same time, like, as much as I enjoy getting high, I also enjoy being sober.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I want to get high every single day, but I do like to get high. But I do have to always watch because once I start doing something, if I do it too much, it becomes a routine, and I'm just trying to break all those type of routines. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other final things that you want to say about everything? I'm so excited to see what this turns into. And so this podcast will sort of like follow the journey of the business while you're interviewing other people who are in the business, right?
Yeah, I think we'll continue to have things like this about me, but also we're going to have people that I do business with that I know are like me, and people that have brands like you. Like, I think I'll have you on. Like, we're gonna flip this, and I'm gonna be in that chair, and I'll be talking about you.
Right, I'll have to start talking more about my wooden leg abilities, how much booze I can drink.
Yeah, it's just about telling the journey and telling what we believe in, and talking about current events, and also bringing on people that think that I'm fucking crazy to think that it's okay to call myself LA sober when I'm not sober. But to me, I'm fine with it.
You can define it however you want to define it. That's what this is all about. Love it.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Annie. This was so much fun.
Thank you. I had such a good time. This is my first
We did great.
podcast hosting.
Oh, by the way, here is a hat. So we came up with this little hat that says "Make Los Angeles Sober Again." We thought it was pretty funny, so this is a little present for
It's
you.
funny as long as it's not red.
No, it's not red, but then we do have red ones.
Yeah,
Sorry,
not for me.
we have red, we have blue, we have black, we have pink, and we have white. And you got me a gift, right?
I did, from Citizen Hyde. This
Citizen
is
Hyde, everyone.
So my company is Citizen Hyde. We have locked bags with hidden pockets. In fact, there's even a hidden pocket in that tote bag there.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
So yeah, they're odor proof, and they're gender neutral. And he's stoned, he can't open the box. I'm just kidding, he's not. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I love it. I love a man purse.
So yeah, it's a
this is dope.
crossbody bag. And then there's directions on how to use the lock inside.
So a little lock here, so we can.
So you just open it like this, and then you can see inside. There's like hidden pockets, like underneath here. You could hide your stuff.
Oh, I love
in
that.
Hidden pocket. But anyway,
I love
you
that.
take time to.
Why, thank you so much, Annie.
Welcome. Thank you.
Give me a hug.
This was so fun.
Oh, thank you. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. Many more of these to come. Our goal is to start to release these on a weekly basis. So stay tuned for more. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.